So openers, what's a good rule of thumb for an opener for a powerlifting meet? I've always been told you pick a weight that you can triple, and then I've also been told pick a weight you can triple on any day. And generally, I like to go with the second thing I said, which is pick a weight you can triple on any day, and I'll add that weight should be an easy triple with a rep or two in the tank. So, you know, take your triple and apply it to an RPE scale. That seems to be the buzz these days. The RPE scale. I always see people post videos. Here's 500 by 3 at 8 or 9, whatever. But to me, I think that triple should be at 8. It's basically a weight that you could hit for 5, but it would be a push. It would be a big push to get 5 reps, but a triple would be easy. So a single with it is super easy, and I'll explain why I think this, because in my experience in powerlifting, I've always had people give me advice and say, hey, you should be doing this, 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 and this, and they don't really go into a lot of detail about why you should do something and explain it. And I'm a pretty analytical person by nature, especially in powerlifting. So if somebody tells me I should be doing something, I'm going to say, well, why? Why should I do that? And I know some people are annoyed and they think that I'm coming across as someone who questions them and is saying, you don't know what you're talking about. That couldn't be further from the truth. The fact is, I need to know exactly why I'm doing something. And if you want me to do it, you've got to give me evidence to support what you're telling me to do. So this is me telling you that I think you should lower your opener, and I'm going to give some decent evidence to support why I say this. So we're going to use a lifter who is prepping for a meet, and based on his training and his current level of strength and performance, he wants to go into the meet and squat 500 pounds. He thinks that that's going to be his 100% for the day. I'm not going to say 110%, 101, because 100% is 100%. We don't do this 110 stuff. We don't do that. It's 100% is all you have that day. And based on his training and based on what he's done in training, he plans on hitting that 500, and everything is on point. His diet's good. He's not cutting. He's not nursing an injury. Everything is good. So, to be completely honest, I would say that a guy who plans to hit that 500 in a meet as his top squat should open around 400 pounds. And yeah, that's 100 pounds off. And I'm sure some people are sitting at home going, what are you smoking? And like I said, I would give you some evidence to support what I'm saying. So 400. Why would I say 400 for an opener? Well, your opener is your last warm-up. You know, your last warm-up is not in the warm-up room. Your last warm-up is on the platform. You pick a weight that you can get no matter what. It doesn't matter if the judges are being super strict. It doesn't matter if you're nervous, because you're going to be. Nothing should allow you to miss your opener, because it should be that easy. Again, it's a triple at 8. It's probably a weight you could hit for 5 with a push. So why do that? Because A, it's your last warm-up, and B, more importantly, save yourself. There's no reason to waste any energy on an opener. It gets you in the meet. It keeps you in the meet. It gets you ready. Now, I did a little research before this, because I had always remembered hearing about people who would test their vertical jump. And I remembered hearing about a study done where the people in this study who were testing their vertical did some squats with a barbell before actually testing their vertical. And in the study, and I've got it right here, it said that 13 young adult men were testing the effect of a heavy back squat just prior to performing the vertical jump. And the idea behind this is PAP. It's post-activation potentiation. And what it said was they had lifters do squat or jumpers do a squat with 56% of their max, 70%, or 93% of their 1 rep max. 56% of their 1 rep max showed no effect at all. So basically, they didn't recruit any more muscle fibers than they would have just warming up and jumping. 70% had an effect, and their vertical jump peaked at 4 minutes after the squats and returned to normal after 8 minutes. The highest intensity at 93% of 1 rep max had the greatest effect. So basically what is happening is those guys taking 93% of a 1 rep max recruited most, if not all, of their muscle fibers to prepare for an explosive movement. So with that said, obviously your opener being your last warm-up needs to be a high enough percentage so that you're recruiting and stimulating your central nervous system, if you will, and getting yourself prepared for a second attempt and then a third. I know a lot of lifters like to take a second attempt that's a PR, which is okay as long as it's there and you have some left in the tank, because if you don't, then you don't have anything left for a third. So, at the end of the article it says, taking a few reps between 70 and 90% of your 1 rep max will yield the greatest effect on improving your vertical jump. I see a lot of relationship and carryover to the platform in powerlifting. Take that 70 to 90% and pick an opener in that range. Obviously, I think 70% is way too low. I think an opener around 80 to 85% is ideal, and that's right around that 400 to 420 pound range that a guy who wants to squat 500 should be taking, in my opinion. Because the jump between your opener and your second attempt should be a lot bigger than your second to third. I realize that every person's different, every meet is different based on how you feel, and you should absolutely be lifting based on how you feel that day. But your opener gets you ready. Your second attempt should be, again, based on how you feel, but it's also a feeler lift so that you know what to do for a third. But I think a lot of lifters make the mistake of opening too heavy, and they end up wasting energy, and they either lose pounds on their third attempt, or they end up not having anything left for a third attempt, and they end up finishing their meet 6 for 9 because of poor attempt selection. And I think starting with a very light opener would have made the difference. So I'm not going to say that you should take this percentage and everybody should follow that rule. What I am saying, as a rule of thumb, is most lifters need to rethink their openers and open very lightly. Probably a fair amount lighter than what they think. There's no reason to take a weight that you can't hit for an easy triple on any given day with 1 to 2 reps left in the tank as an opener. You're just wasting your energy if you do otherwise. Hopefully that's helpful. And I know some of you are going to disagree with me, and that's totally fine. But I think this is going to help some people, especially people who are, maybe doing their first meet and, need a little bit of guidance. And also, okay, so at the end of that, where I cut the video off, like right after I cut it off, I remembered what it was that I wanted to share. And the most important part of this entire video, or I guess the second most important thing but the most important thing that you would apply to picking your opener and making sure you pick one that's super light so that you don't waste the energy, is making sure that you're basing your opener and any other attempt on your current level of performance and your current level of strength. So what you would need to do is look at your training during your peaking process leading up to your meet and use that to base your openers, your second attempt, and your third attempt. So again, we're using this hypothetical guy who has had a successful training peaking cycle, whatever, and he's very confident that a 500-pound squat is going to happen. The other thing that I didn't cover was, well, now that this guy has his opener picked, and at 4 between 400 and 420. I believe that's right around, that's between 80 and 85%. And again, I'm not picking a percentage and saying you need to run with that because everybody's different. Every meet is going to be different. And so you gotta play it by ear, if you will, and lift how you feel on that day. But a second attempt to me would be that 93%. And 93% of 500 is 465. And to me, that's a great attempt. Because if you think about the study that I talked about, those guys that were testing their vertical, they took a 93% squat, and that's 93% of their 1 rep max. And then after X amount of minutes, a little bit of rest to allow yourself to recover and get ready for another max effort attempt, jump, whatever it is, they're fully recovered and they jumped their highest. So obviously, taking 93% for a second, it's not going to gas you. It's not. You will be fully ready and prepared to take your 100%, which this hypothetical guy I'm using in my video is 500. Now, the good thing about 93% is 465 is a great in-between number. Number one, it's a high enough weight to tell you where you are for the day. You're going to know after 465 if 500 is in the tank or not. After you take it, if it feels good, okay, I'm taking 500. If it feels heavy, I'm going to back off a little bit. I'm going to go 480, 490-ish and call it a day. So it's a great in-between number. It gets you ready, and it tells you where you are. Now, there are people at home that are probably thinking, why would I take a 65-pound jump? Well, that's not really a big jump, especially on the squat. Percentage-wise, it may seem like it, but think about it like this. My guess is most 500-pound squatters warm up kind of like this. Maybe they start with a bar, do 10 reps. 135, 6 to 10 reps. 225, 4 to 5 reps. 315, they knock out a couple, 2-3 reps. At that point, assuming you did some kind of pre-warm-up before you actually touch the bar, you have no need to touch any more weight. You're totally warmed up. So 315 would be the top weight that you would hit in the warm-up room. 405 is your last warm-up on the platform. And now you're ready to go. You hit that 93% or in that range. Again, I'm not locking you in on a percentage. I'm just saying you take something in that ballpark that A, gets you fully ready for a max effort, 100% attempt on your third attempt. B, it leaves plenty in the tank to take that attempt. And C, it tells you exactly where you are. And if you are lifting based on how you feel that day, you're going to go 3 for 3. And the rest of your lifts, if you follow those general guidelines, you're going to have a great day, finish 8 for 9, 9 for 9, and probably walk away with a PR total, even if you don't PR on all 3 lifts. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense, and I hope I don't sound like a complete idiot. Bye.